What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got our Week 11 fantasy football running back starts and sits for every single matchup, so make sure to tune in. If you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have? We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Today's video is brought to you guys by Birddogs. And look, I know we're all searching for that perfect pair of shorts or pants that offers the best style, the best comfort, the best bang for your buck. Well, guess what? That search is over because Birddogs offers all of that and so much more. If you're looking for shorts, they have a ton of options with active wear, casual wear, or even beach wear. On top of that, their pants have a selection of khakis, joggers, and sweatpants. So what are you waiting for? Regardless of the occasion of the season, get yourself the most stylish, the most comfortable pair of pants with a built-in liner from Birddogs.com. And if you use promo code ADP today, you'll get a free rope hat with your purchase. Again, that's Birddogs.com, code ADP, and you'll get a free rope hat with your purchase. Make sure to check out birddogs.com, link in the description, and we kick off Week 11 with the Titans at the Packers on Thursday night. Here from a running back perspective, it's pretty simple. For the Titans, you're going to start Derrick Henry. He is the focal point of that offense. He's got a pretty good matchup. Tony Pollard just had a pretty good day versus the Green Bay Packers, and I do think Henry will bounce back compared to his game versus the Denver Broncos. I have him as an RB1 versus Green Bay across all formats, even PPR included. For Green Bay, we said it last week, if Aaron Jones played despite his ankle issue, you start him, and then A.J. Dillon is a sit. That's what happened, and that's kind of the way it played out, because no matter how much the Packers offense struggles, Aaron Jones is one of the focal points there. He's going to see the volume, so that usually translates to success. He's got the higher touchdown upside as well, higher PPR upside. That's why we have A.J. Dillon as a sit. You know, it's just tough to get excited about 10 carries for 60 yards without any touchdowns, just way too touchdown dependent. So Aaron Jones is the primary guy. I have him as a high-end running back 2 on the week. Then Bears at the Falcons. You know, you can make a lot of arguments here in terms of who to start, who to sit, you know, maybe even starting nobody. But we right now have primarily just Cordarrelle Patterson as a start. Reason being is, you know, we think with now another week behind him, he's going to be a little bit more heavily utilized, you know, another week removed from his injury and going up against an atrocious Bears defense. Now, you might say, well, with that being the case, why not start Tyler Algier or Caleb Huntley? Well, look, realistically speaking, only at max 2 out of these 3 running backs are going to be utilized successfully. And I think Patterson is the main guy you want to go with because his involvement in the game plan as a whole is going to be more widespread than an Algier or a Huntley. So for that reason, I'm going to go with him. But honestly, regardless of who you go with here with the Falcons, if you go with anyone, I think they are in the low-end running back 2, high-end running back 3 category. For the Bears, might be a surprise considering this Falcons defense and how much, you know, they've struggled as of late. But I have Montgomery and Khalil Herbert as sits. The reason being, not their fault, but it's about the Bears offense and the way they have kind of been playing as of late, and has everything to do with Justin Fields. Simply put, Justin Fields is the primary rusher for this team, and that's not bad, but it limits the upside for Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. Even more so, this is pretty much a split backfield now. You know, this last week, Herbert, more carries than David Montgomery. It kind of a running back by committee, hot hand type of approach, and then with Justin Fields ahead of them, taking away the touchdown opportunities, it's too difficult to trust. I realize it's a good matchup, but I think it's too big of a toss-up, so I would sit both Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. Then Eagles at the Colts. Here, simple, Miles Sanders, you start him. At the time of this recording, Eagles haven't played, but look, when all these guys are healthy, Sanders is the clear-cut number 1 dude. I have him as a low-end running back 1 on the week. Decent matchup as well. High-octane offense, the Eagles. For the Colts, Jonathan Taylor kind of got revitalized this last week after the Colts unexpectedly put Matt Ryan as their starter again. And I do say unexpectedly because only a couple weeks ago we were said that he is done for the season. It would be Ellinger's team going forward. And, I mean, that was very short-lived. I do think with Matt Ryan under center for the Colts, it improves the upside for all of their players, Taylor included. So that's obviously a benefit for him, but I think it's going to be a tough matchup here. Look, the Eagles are not the Raiders from any perspective. They have a very good defense, and I could see the Colts playing from behind, which is going to, have issues with Taylor's upside. For that reason, I have him in that, high-end running back 2 category. And then Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, they're sits for me. They're just not going to get enough usage with the way that this Eagles offense is operating right now. Then Jets at the Patriots. I'll take a chance on Michael Carter here, primarily because of what he can do as a pass catcher. He is above, James Robinson in that category for now. I have Robinson as a sit because, again, PPR upside, not as high as I would like. And then also, I think the Patriots matchup is going to be a tough one. I think I could see this being a low-scoring affair. These two teams played not too long ago. Patriots did a good job of, stopping the run, causing issues with Zach Wilson. I think that's going to probably pop up again here. So I even do have concerns for Michael Carter. If he doesn't contribute as a pass catcher, he could have a dud of a week. For the Patriots, though, it's much simpler here. Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris, I think, are very solid starts in the mid, running back 2 range. If Damian Harris doesn't play, Ramondre Stevenson is an RB1. Afterwards, Commanders at the Texans. Typically, I don't, advise starting multiple Washington players, hell, even really any running back, but it's not every week you play the worst run defense in the NFL. That's why I have Gibson and Brian Robinson as starts. I think they're both going to be in the low-end running back 2 category. J.D. McKissic, though, similar situation, but he's just not getting enough volume, so he's a sit. For the Texans, it's Dameon Pierce. I have him as a high-end running back 2. He's getting the volume, so that usually translates to success. Then Rams at the Saints. I'm only looking at Alvin Kamara here. He's kind of been disappointing as of late. The Saints offense hasn't been getting good matchups. I think that's going to continue here versus this Rams defense. I think they can cause issues for Andy Dalton. And the biggest thing, when Alvin Kamara doesn't get the pass catching opportunities and, like 6, 7, 8 targets a game, then there's a pretty good chance he's going to have a bad fantasy week. That's been the case these last 2 weeks. We need to return to that in order for his upside to be something. So I have him as a mid to low end running back 2 on the week. For the Rams, Akers, Henderson, Kyren Williams, they are all sits. The Rams offensive line is no good. Their rushing attack is no good. They're banged up offensively. There's too many mouths to feed here. Do I need to go on sit all Rams running backs? Then Browns at the Bills, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, I think are very solid starts. We know that with Nick Chubb, obviously, but Kareem Hunt more so here because I think he's going to be very utilized as a pass-catching running back, considering the Browns are going to have to throw a bunch to keep pace with the Bills. So I like that for Kareem Hunt. I think he can be a high-end running back 2 on the week. For the Bills, Devin Singletary, he's the main guy. I have him as a mid to high-end running back 2. Sure, James Cook has been getting some more usage as of late, but he's still the clear-cut, backup, so he is a sit for me. Then Panthers at the Ravens. Deonta Foreman is the main guy for me here for the Panthers. Chuba Hubbard did return this last week, and, maybe you can blame it on the short turnaround, on the fact that it's his first game back from injury, but he wasn't utilized. But honestly, I think what the Panthers have seen from Foreman these last 3 weeks is that he's very capable of being the lead guy. I think he's won that job. The only thing I will say about Foreman is we've seen it now a couple of times. Versus the Falcons, great, okay, easy matchup. It's in favor of the Panthers in terms of game script. Foreman is a great start then. But versus the Cincinnati Bengals, when the Panthers are getting blown out, bad game script, and with how bad this offense is, Carolina, and it starts with the quarterback position, that can happen. They can get blown out, then the rushing attack is non-existent. Foreman is a bad start, and he can have a bust of a week. I'm scared that can happen here versus the Baltimore Ravens. That's why I have Foreman as a boomer bust low-end running back 2 on the week. And then afterwards, Gus Edwards, Kenyon Drake. To me, I have them as sits. That's assuming they both play because, again, Lamar Jackson is the top guy here. Then Edwards and Drake are going to split carries. So too tough to trust this backfield in that situation. If Gus Edwards doesn't play, then I would start Kenyon Drake, and he would actually be my preferred running back choice in this matchup. Afterwards, Lions at the Giants might seem crazy. I'm sitting DeAndre Swift. I'm starting Jamaal Williams. ahead of him. Reason I say that is, look, I'm not going to trust DeAndre Swift in my starting lineup until I see his usage return to what it was prior to his injury. I just can't get excited about 5 carries a game. That's nothing. If he doesn't get that touchdown this last week versus the Bears, he has an all-time awful game. Jamaal Williams, when he's getting 15-plus carries a game, I'm going to continue to start him, even though versus this Giants stingy defense, I think he is in the low-end running back 2 category. For the Giants, Saquon Barkley, great matchup versus this Lions defense. I think he is an RB1 on the week. Then Raiders at the Broncos, I'll start Josh Jacobs. Yes, bit of a tough matchup versus this Broncos defense, but I think he can be a high-end running back 2. For Denver, you can't trust anyone here. This offense, it's very limited, doesn't have high scoring upside, and neither of these guys are getting, 10 carries a game. It's like 7, 8, 9 carries a game, split across, at least Gordon, Latavius Murray. Chase Edmonds could get more use there as well, so I have all of them as sits. Then Cowboys at the Vikings. If Zeke plays, you start him. I would have him as a mid to high-end running back 2. And then Tony Pollard, if Zeke doesn't play, he is obviously a must start. He would be in that low-end running back 1 conversation. But honestly, even if Zeke does play, I would still start Tony Pollard. He is getting more and more play. He's showing that he can be the guy. Probably not this season because of how much, the coaching staff is in love with Ezekiel Elliott. But next year, Tony Pollard could really, really have a big solo season. We'll see. For the Vikings, it's simple. It's Dalvin Cook. Now, I do think that, his performance from this last week is going to be skewed from that 85-yard touchdown. Prior to that, he wasn't doing anything. So keep that in mind. I kind of have him here as a high-end running back 2. Afterwards, Bengals at the Steelers. I'll start Joe Mixon. And I'll start Najee Harris, the top 2 guys for the teams. I like the upside for Joe Mixon more. I just trust that offense more. I have him as a high-end running back 2. Najee Harris, sure, he did see some success this last week. But I just, aren't as excited about him. I have him as a low-end running back 2. Just, again, the Steelers offense doesn't do it for me. And then Jaylen Warren, look, he's still the backup here. I know there was a lot of noise leading up to last week, but Warren is still the backup. That was evident. And, if Najee Harris is healthy and we're still talking about this poor Steelers offense, I don't know how you can start Jaylen Warren. It's as simple as that. Then Chiefs at the Chargers. I'm only starting Austin Ekeler here. He's an easy top 5 running back for the week. Let's move on. For the Chiefs, Isaiah Pacheco did have a big performance this last week, but I think you look at it, I think it's probably a flash in the pan. I don't think that moving forward, that's going to be a long-term. Reason being, this is literally the first time where, honestly, any Chiefs running back has had over 15 carries. I don't think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to see 0 carries moving forward. And I think Pacheco is probably going to be closer to 10 carries a game. So I'm sitting both those guys. They're 2 primary guys for me for the Chiefs. It's not going to be easy to determine the situation here. Chiefs just aren't a run type of focal team. Then 49ers at the Cardinals. You start Christian McCaffrey. You start James Conner. Look, I know the usage for Elijah Mitchell was very, very nice this last week, and maybe some Christian McCaffrey owners a little bit worried. I mean, Mitchell outrushed Christian McCaffrey, but, you can make the case the 49ers were winning that game and that McCaffrey didn't necessarily need to see that usage. But look, at the end of the day, McCaffrey is still the top guy here. He's getting more usage in the pass-catching department. He's still an RB1 for me. Elijah Mitchell may be an interesting, flex, a flyer, that type of deal, considering how much the 49ers run the ball. So if you want to start him, I wouldn't blame you. For the Cardinals, like we've been saying before, James Conner, with him back, with him healthy, I mean, it doesn't matter, Benjamin, whoever, he's the primary guy. I think he's going to have a tough outing here, however, versus the 49ers. I don't think he's going to duplicate his performance from this last week. I have him as a low-end running back too. But with that, we wrap up our Week 11 fantasy football running back starts and sits for every single matchup. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section, did you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all, but in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.